टीच ऑनलाइन, जी हाँ, टीच ऑनलाइन पे, टीच टॉक पे साइमा आपके सामने। कुछ लोग आज हमें एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे थे, कुछ लोग हमारा ऑलरेडी वेट कर रहे हैं। जो एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे थे उनको हम बता दें थोड़ा सा कि कुछ लोग हमारे जो कि ओवरसीज़ होते हैं या अपने एक बिजी स्केड्यूल में होते हैं, उनको अकोमोडेट करने के लिए हम कोशिश करते हैं कि वीकडेज में अपने आप को अवेलेबल करें। और यहाँ पे हमें कोशिश यही है कि चीज़ों को बेहतर से बेहतरीन बनाया जाए। आज का टॉपिक प्रोटेक्टिव बिहेवियर थोड़ा सा कंट्रोवर्शियल है, थोड़ा सा सीरियस है, थोड़ा नहीं बहुत ज़्यादा सीरियस है। कितने हद तक सीरियस है, हमारा क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है, हमारी क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, उसी बात में हम आज डिस्कशन करना चाहते हैं और उसी के लिए हम आपके सामने आए हैं। कुछ लोग ऑलरेडी हमारा वेट कर रहे थे। अस्सलाम वालेकुम टू एवरीवन। और ज़्यादा वेट नहीं करवाते हैं, गेस्ट को ऑन बोर्ड ले लेते हैं। लेट्स टेक देम ऑन बोर्ड। जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, and we also have Mariam here. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Everyone. Hello.
Ji.
Talking to me or talking to her?
Sir, you can introduce yourself and then we can go with Mariam.
All right.
On our channel, we have males first.
Okay. My name is Ibrahim, and I'm the founder of the Aware Academy Global. I am residing in Australia, and I'm currently a student counselor at the Australian Islamic College in Perth City, in Australia, Western Australia.
Welcome on board, sir. And Mariam, would you like to introduce yourself also?
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Mariam Faisal. I'm a well-being life coach and a speaker trainer, and working on different platforms on different topics. And here I am with Aware Academy, collaboration of Brother Wael Ibrahim. I'm doing the course from the academy, and we are doing spreading out these taboo topics on different platforms.
Okay. That's great, and I'm glad that you people took out time for Teach Talk as well, because again, it's a platform where we are trying to reach to all the audience which is particularly associated with the education sector. And yes, we have already some people waiting for you. Mr. Sharik Wani, he has been messaging since yesterday. So there are some people who have been eagerly waiting to talk to you and listen to you. You chose a topic of being, of protective behavior. How would you like to start with that? I mean, how would you like to, create that need wherein you feel that that people need to know about it? Sir Ibrahim.
Thank you so much, first of all, for having me over on your platform. I really appreciate the invitation. Thank you, Mariam, for reaching out various platforms to try to reach out to as many people as possible, to tell them that it's very essential in our days to work on protecting our children. And in order for us to do that, we have to educate parents and teachers, because these are the two segments of the society that have a direct contact on a constant basis with children. And protective behavior was selected because it's a whole school approach, or a holistic approach now, which has become a compulsory upon every school in Australia to teach that curriculum, to teach teachers how to actually protect their students from any harms, not necessarily the harm that I always talk about, and that's pornography addiction, but every other type of harm. How can we equip them with the necessary skills and knowledge in order for them to cope with these challenges that are always, facing them, or they are faced with in day-to-day life and day-to-day activities. So from there comes the call from the Aware Academy to reach out to the Pakistani community in particular, and anyone else who's listening elsewhere. If protective behavior programs are not taught in your country, in your city, in your school, we are reaching you out because we've been trained on this, and we can actually provide these trainings in your school. So we wanted to give a glimpse of what it is actually is all about, and then we can take it to the next level, inshallah ta'ala.
Sir, I would like to, Mariam, I would take your take also on this, but one more question connected to what Sir had to say. Sir, the comparison that you've been presenting in terms of what Pakistan is offering is, we are very unfortunately, I feel very unfortunate to announce this today, that we don't even touch upon the e-safety basic elements of e-safety, using electronic devices that the children have exposure to. We don't even get them aware of e-safety rules. And recently I have been trying to create some videos wherein e-safety rules have been shared with the parents, but I don't see much inclination of the parents or inclination of the mass towards this, in this direction. How would you make it a point that this problem, I mean, maybe you might have to highlight the major problems that may occur if we don't address them right now. Maybe you want to talk about that, highlight that.
First of all, I wanted to mention something very important. That all it takes is one brave person to take this upon his shoulder as a responsibility and face the taboo culture and face the challenges by actually trying his best or her best to protect their kids from falling into the harms of the outside world. So all it takes is one school, perhaps, to apply that
Yes.
holistic approach of protective behavior. I wanted to tell you something. In Australia, and I'm not trying to make a comparison here, I'm just trying to tell you that if Australia, a Western country, who do not care about halal or haram, because that's not the basic, understanding of how to rule a country, this is
Yeah.
their system. They have recognized these harms, and they realize that if we don't protect children at a very young age, by the time they reach to 18, they are already spoiled. They are already tarnished human beings. They are of no use anymore
Right.
unless we protect them and equip them with the necessary knowledge and skill at a very, very early age. Then they will get lost later in life. So if a Western country who does not care really much about religion when it comes to people's behavior, they have thought of this. How about us, Muslims, countries who are, having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger first before anything else, and then governments and, politics and whatnot. So if we don't have this in our hearts, if we don't take the lead, then corruption will increase. And I wanted to give you the bad news here is that Pakistan, one of the countries, and I don't want to highlight one single country, but there are many countries around the world who are infected with these diseases, but Pakistan is one of the top countries who are suffering from these issues. Yet we don't want to talk about it. Like, until when? We will keep our mouths shut and not to address these issues that are super prevalent, perhaps in every single home. In every single home, there is a problem when it comes to protective behaviors.
So, sir, Mariam, rather, I'll take it from Mariam. Mariam, let's talk in terms of Pakistan. That if we are saying that, as sir mentioned, that there are some issues pertaining to these which are not being addressed, and the name that we give is religion or culture. In the name of religion and culture is one of the reasons why we do not address these things, or we don't even talk about, we don't dare to talk about it, right? What do you think could be major impact in near future of this
Yeah.
particular cultural boundaries that we have set? What are we expecting to happen?
Um, I what I think is it's going to be better because now a lot of people. I mean, like I have started spreading this with brother Wael, and we have other team members who are actually talking about it now live and on different platform. I'm going and talking about it, and their mothers, their fathers, their children, their students. They first they make this wide eyes, and then they say, okay, I think this is high time that we do talk about it because every household is suffering from this issue. And I think like brother said, it's a
You're
taboo thing.
breaking up, Mariam.
Yeah, your voice is
That's why
distorted.
we don't want to discuss, and parents feel that to discuss, and children find out from other other mediums
Sources.
a problem, then they get into the things they should not be. So now like it's in the future, the present, we are trying that the future is different now. So we talk about it at homes and tell them the no's and yes and what is good and bad about it, and openly talk about it so that the children don't fall into wrong habits and behaviors. So I think the culture will change. The society and culture is actually us. We have the one who made it. We are the one who have to change it. So it has to start from somewhere. So we are the one who are going to do it. So I think we have taken that step already. And what I see when I talk to people about it on many platforms, they actually say, yes, it's high time that we spread this knowledge and we talk about it. So I
Mhm.
think, sorry, it's going to be better that we started, and we have started, and alhamdulillah.
Sir, I'm throwing this question to you. Sir, as I told you earlier, like I have addressed myself these kind of problems in my classrooms as well, and I have, come across some incidences where the children were into these kind of things, and I had to address it, and I could not let it go. Somehow or the other, it was there in my heart, and I had to address it. What impact otherwise I saw was the destructive behavior, the disengagement in the academics. The third thing that I really faced was that they were least interested in whatever was going around them and were more interested in what was there at the background, at the back of their mind, maybe, probably. So will that in a long run have a major impact? Have you come across any such incident which has been a result of such behavior?
Absolutely, because they are bombarded with inappropriate media,
Yes.
inappropriate content, without supervision, with access to internet and cell phones and iPads and whatnot, 24/7 now. That we call it the third hand. Like
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
using their internet devices like a chewing gum. So with these things being the main in the lives, how in the world will they? How will any teacher compete with technology if we are lagging behind? If the teachers themselves are not creative in classrooms, how will you actually compete with TikTok and Snapchat and all these presentations that are eye catchy, like can grab their attention much more than a teacher just sitting with an old style of approach, talking to kids who are their minds are in the games and so on. So yes, it will have a very, very negative impact unless we create that bridge between our generation as teachers, parents, and the younger ones. And that happened by two things, and this is the main focus of protective behavior curriculum that we are teaching. Number one, every person, every child, every student have the right to feel safe. So whatever they do, they must feel at the end that they are in a safe environment where it can establish the second part, which is if you are safe in an environment, you will reach out to an adult, a teacher, or a parent to talk to them about absolutely anything.
Right.
And this is what is lacking in our community, sister, that we
Yes.
don't have that safe environment where a child would go to his father and tell him, Dad, I have a problem with pornography. Or, Dad, I have committed an act of haram yesterday with a girl in my school or a classmate. What do I do? I need to correct myself. If the child don't feel safe in his own home, will he go and talk to his father? Will he go and talk, or will the girl who does something haram, will she go and talk to her mother? She know that slippers will fly on her faces. She know that scolding will happen. Yeah, she know all these things. So how will we be able to actually solve the problems that our youth, our youngsters are facing if they don't feel secure talking about the problems. They don't feel safe. So this is part of protective behavior, is to actually encourage them to come out and talk without fear so that we can solve the problem using our knowledge and experience.
And I would relate
Right.
to what Ms. Iram Kamran had to mention, that we need to train the young minds to avoid the consequences.
Yes.
Relating to this comment of hers, I would say that, you have been talking about it, but what do you think is the right age wherein we should start training children about how to protect themselves?
It's
Day
very young
one.
age. Yes.
Oh,
Means
sorry, you're
day
talking,
one
Sister
of
Mariam.
like day one is the birth date.
Sorry, go ahead, Sister Mariam.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes. It starts from very, very early age. You'll be surprised. The children are getting into these things of 6, 7 years old.
Uh-huh.
So this starts from the very beginning when the child doesn't even start talking. If you notice in household, a baby of 6 months can
Mhm.
go pressing and open up their phones or tabs, and they could get into anything, any home or any site, and they're very good at it. So the
Yes.
thing starts from a very early age. Like I say, that the training starts in the womb.
Right.
I tell everyone, the
Uh-huh.
training starts in the womb. If you want your child to be a well-behaved child, or you want to have good habits, it starts in the womb. And people get surprised when they go, no, 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 this starts from there. You think, the baby is out, is small. Oh, it's too, it's not even one. He's not even one. No, 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 no. It starts
Mhm.
from a very, very early age, and you need to start talking about it. And like brother said, the children have to know that they're safe and secure, and they can talk about
Uh-huh.
anything, absolutely anything, to their parents. Not that going to a third person outside the house and talk about it. I have done it the same thing in my house from a very, very early. I have two daughters. I used to talk to them about everything since they were little babies. And now they're, mashallah, grown up girls in the A levels. And they come and talk to me about anything, and
Right.
I talk to them just like their friends. And okay, you shouldn't have done that, you don't sit with this, and you maybe can help out. But the thing is that and most, in like brother said, in our culture, people are so they don't have the enough confidence to talk about these things. They think
Mhm.
this is something which is haram, we should not talk about it. If the word porn is used, there is a like a very blast come out, say, oh my god, how can you take such a name in the house? This
Right.
kind of attitude people have. So that
Right.
mentality has to be changed, and only this new generation can do that. And that's what we are trying to do.
Okay. Even when I was going through a research, I realized and I found out that as soon as the student or the child is exposed to the media device, whether it be a TV or whether it be a
Yeah.
tablet, whether be it your Android phones, whichever media that the child is being exposed to, you have to train the child before even it is exposed to that.
Yes,
That's why, Sister,
exactly, that's what I said.
Yes.
that's why in the beginning, if you don't,
Yes.
if you remember when you asked that question, I jumped in and say day one.
Day one.
And I
Yes.
Yes,
meant
That's
it.
yes,
that's
And
where
I
I
meant
wanted to
it.
say.
I meant it.
he was
I did
right.
not mean
He was
I did
right.
not mean as young as possible. I meant it. Day one. From day one. Whenever you
From
Yes,
introduce to your toddler, they have the ability to develop these habits at a young age. If you pass a
yeah,
cell phone with a cartoon film because you're tired, you don't want to handle the crying baby, that would be the addiction of your child at a young age.
yes,
And we see that in restaurants. Wallahi, I was having lunch with my family just a few days ago, and a group of sisters and I think a husband or something, like a big family, mashallah. And it seems like the wife is sitting with two kids with two iPads, and the two kids are of different age. One is sitting already on a walker, child walker. Imagine how many months is she? She can't walk. And the other one is a couple of years old, and they are sitting, and the cartoon movie are played on. The mother, I guarantee you, the mother has no idea what they're watching. All what she did, here's
true,
YouTube
true.
cartoon, yalla, you watch. A kiss can happen in any cartoon movie now. Kisses, profanity, bad language, anything could go in today's world without any filter. The pushing of ideologies in these films are by the tons. So I meant it when I said that we have to start educating our kids at a very, very young age. I wanted to have the ability as a child. Now I'm talking from children's perspective because I'm a student counselor. I talk to them on a daily basis. From a child's perspective, I wanted to learn stuff. I am a very curious person. I wanted to know what goes in bedroom, what happened between husbands and wives. I wanted to know. I'm a very curious person. Now, if the father shut me up, like what happened to me before my wedding night with my father, my own father, he told me, just go do it anyway. Don't talk to me like this. And he stared at me because I was asking for tips. I was shut down. My father shut me up because we are not used to these kind of conversations. But I went to him because he's my father. Like, where else will I go? As a result, my sister and I, look, when I decided to search this topic, I knew that two things will happen. I have to be absolutely vulnerable and honest, dead honest about everything I say. Secondly, I knew very, very well that I will get into troubles. And that's what I'm facing now from Muslims and non-Muslims alike, touching on these topics. How dare you? But this is a reality. Children are very curious. I would rather sit with my child, my daughter, my son, and tell them exactly what happens in bedroom with the language. And this is what we teach in protective behavior, the language, how to language all these terminologies.
Yes, I was about to say that.
The best language that has the minimum negative impact. Now we've been trained on this, and we have seen the positivity. We have seen it in so many schools. MashaAllah, people can realize the harms of accessing pornography. They know the harms of having illicit sexual relationship. They know, they are afraid of AIDS. They are afraid of diseases that they have never heard of. They are worried about mental addiction or visual addiction. They are worried now because they knew the harmful impact of it. But if we brush the dirt under the carpet again and again, they don't know the harms, they will do it. And by the time they are hooked on something that is very harmful, it's too late for us to help them. Not only that, but when we find out that they are in troubles, we scold them instead of helping them. Why we scold them? Because we as parents, as teachers, we are not equipped. We are not knowledgeable. We don't know how to help them when it comes to these topics, because these topics seldom discussed.
And I want to share something here.
Yes,
I want to share something here about the classroom. You said these days when the pandemic was on and everybody was having online classes, as brother said, the teachers were not equipped to do online classes. They didn't know how to handle Zoom. So I got to hear a lot of stories that children, while they were going classes, that boys used to play pornography videos on the back or put up sound.
They have role played as well.
And this happened to my daughter as well. She came barging in and she said, Mama, do you know what is happening? And the teacher we are saying, teacher, look what is happening. And she's not responding. So I actually called up the principal and the coordinator and everyone. And I said, you need to train your teachers that how to handle this. This is something very unacceptable thing happened. So the coordinator was shocked. She said, how can this happen, Manika? Well, ask your teacher. She did not know what is going on. And this was going on. And all the children, like 26, 27 children online were hearing to it, and the teacher did not know. So this is something, when I say, okay, we need to have this awareness. They need to be trained. And I even offered them, okay, we would like to, if you want, we can come with the expert and train your teachers to how to deal with these things and how to stop these things and how to cater. Because, A-level students are big boys, big girls. So it's not very easy to handle them. They're doing all sort of things and you don't know what to do. So these things happen more while online classes and during pandemic, and this is something really need to be addressed too.
Right, because I Because see, addressing these kind of things is not that challenging if it is only you know the language. Like Sir Ibrahim said, that there needs to be a language to address these things. Because even when we teach in the class eights, class nines, we had content wherein Ode of the literature that was Ode of the Glacier and Kublai Khan poetry, which is more about embracing the wild combos, and then you talk about those embracing the environment, or maybe admiring the female body. It's all about that. And we used to explain it being a teacher also, and we used to create that environment wherein we had a co-education schools, both boys and girls were sitting together. But I could not see that thing coming wherein they were smiling or giggling or feeling bad about it. They were there with me, they were connected with me, and yet we could discuss. So there's no harm in discussing. It's all about how your body language is and how your language itself is. So
No, that's very important. That's very important. That's very important. Because when we talk about pornography, also, brother can tell you that we don't use the word porn when we are talking to children or people, because then the people who don't know, they get curious and they will Google it out. Okay, what is porn? And they would get come up with a lot of other things. Internet is full of things. The language is very important. The language is very important. And brother, would you like to share some thoughts about this, about the language part?
I just wanted to mention something very important. When we talk about protective behavior, we don't mean that it's all about pornography and sex and illicit relationship. It is more, as we mentioned, it's a holistic approach.
It's about the
protection.
There were certain games which were there in the past, which got them so addicted that some people committed suicide. There were some games in the past as well,
yes,
which made students suicide. There was a lot of pressure.
We teach also about safe and unsafe touch. Who has the right to touch you? And you have the right to say no, I don't like this touch. So even parents and schools could start somewhere around protective behavior, not necessarily straight into the difficult topics that are considered to be taboo. You can talk about physical and emotional warning signs. Like, what are the warning signs that when you experience, it means that you need to address it. It means that you need to talk to somebody.
Yes.
Who are your network of safety? Who are the people, name 5. I asked my students before, name 5 people who you trust, that if something goes wrong, you would go and talk to them. And believe me, only 2 people were able to number 5 people for as their safety network. Children don't have someone to talk to when they have some sensitive problems. You see, to encourage them about their private parts and how can they use the scientific terms when something goes wrong. Because in a courtroom, sometimes ago here in Australia, the judge asked a little girl who was sexually abused by a predator, what happened? Do you know this man? Said, yes, I've seen him. What did he do? He said, he touched my butterfly. And when she said that, the predator, went free, because there is no such thing as butterfly. You should teach your children the names of their private parts properly. So when something happened, because 90%, above 90%, and this is a challenge, by the way, to everywhere. I am actually opening this challenge to everyone around the world. Go and do your own research and study and survey. You will see that above 90% of children who are abused by people they know very well, either relatives, people in their circles, even their own siblings. Abuse happen in our homes. Quran teachers, I can tell you stories that you will drop your jaws and you will end this program. But I'm telling you, it's happening.
I totally agree, brother.
Yes,
it's happening.
I've heard a lot of stories.
These stories are there on media now, Mariam. We are all coming across 1 or 2 stories otherwise, but there are ample of stories which are already happening, which we don't
have to go into depth. We don't have to go into deep stories, sister. It's enough what I just said. Above 90% in almost every corner, children who are abused by people they know very well. And not only that, parents consider them safe. Parents consider those people are like, their uncles and their relatives, and then how could they harm? So if the children don't have the language to come forward and the safety and the security to come forward and talk, Mom, he touched me. Mom, this man did something haram. And if we don't have the trust between parents and children, like I have a lot of stories where daughters will complain to their mothers and the mothers will shut them up and they will slap them and don't you dare open your mouth about this.
That is what is happening, brother. You're right. I agree.
You think that if something happened again, will she ever come and tell her mother?
No.
Okay, I would relate one question over here when Mr. Irfan is asking that he is saying that the students are not interested in books anymore. I'm just going to rephrase it a little bit over here that the students are not, or the children are not interested in books, and one of the reasons what I understand is because the images that the media has change of image after every 5 seconds, which is
Yes.
definitely an attraction not only for them, even for us. So eventually that has taken them away from the academic content and they are moving on to some other content which may be pornography, may be some other thing which is more attractive rather, and maybe they are not I mean, again, as I said, that they are not allowed to talk about in terms of in their boundaries. Like I remember myself having a computer at home which had a password on it and I was not supposed to open it. So the first thing that came to my mind was what is in there, which I need not to know, but I need to know it now. So again, yes, because that's where when I was moving to US, 5 years I
Curiosity.
stayed over there. My first option that came to me was I need to learn computers because that was something that had a password at home. Nothing else had. So again, coming down to books not being interested, media devices being more engaging. How do we address?
Mariam?
Yes.
Anybody
Okay,
who wants
so
to take it?
Oh,
Yes.
go on, brother. You can answer.
No, I just wanted to say something very important. If we wanted to get our children to develop any healthy habit, whether it's reading books or sports or exercise, we have to teach them how to manage themselves.
Right.
Managing themselves. We don't prohibit them from playing games, but we have to educate them on which games are suitable. We
Right.
don't have to prevent them from using devices, but we have to tell them that you have a certain
Right.
number of hours per week you have to use them. And on the top of that, this is the schedule. You have to teach your children that you are the guide for your kids. You as teachers, you are the guide for your students. You have to teach them how to run their days from the day they wake up until they sleep. If you're not interested in this, then you don't deserve to be a teacher. You don't deserve to be a parent. Simple.
Right.
So part of the education is to train your children, train your students to
Yes.
read a page a day and tell them whichever time you would like, read 1 page a day and come to me and discuss if something didn't go.
Exactly.
Believe me, before even you know it, if a person got hooked on one book, if he likes one book, reading becomes a habit. One book. You just
Right.
give him suggestion. Give him a nice, mind-grabbing book that can, make him interested. And believe me, they are very intelligent beings. Youth, they want something to attract them. So this is part of the education. You get them something, give them a tip. Don't tell them take that book and read it. No, tell them take that book, read 1 page a day, and come and discuss with me whenever you can. Simple.
And in order to do that, I believe, Mr. Wael, in order to do that, I think the parents have to be reading those books as well.
Thank you.
Because you can't
Yes,
ask somebody to do
I
it if
was
you're not
about
doing
to
it
say
yourself.
that.
Thank you, my sister.
If you're not doing yourself, how can you ask children to do it?
That's the
Like a
problem. We
doctor.
don't do it. We just say, "Ki, go and do it." And then
Yeah.
It's like
how
a
can you
doctor.
expect
There's
Even
no
them to
teachers.
do
there's no
you?
environment
Even
at
some
home.
teachers don't read.
Don't read. I hate reading. People hate reading.
No,
That's what
even
their
teachers.
attitude is.
Like, if teachers don't read, then inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Yes.
It's janaza. It's the janaza of your career.
Yes.
I mean,
That's of a teacher.
as a teacher, our principal, he says something very, 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 very interesting. And in the beginning, I used to say like, "Oh my God, what is that?" But as I understood where is he coming from, I truly appreciate what he taught us. He said, teaching job is 24/7 responsibility. It's not in
Oh, yes.
classroom. It's not about the 9 to 2 p.m. Working hours. It's really 24/7 work. You go you go home, ask any teacher, what do you do at home? Oh, either marking, either preparing for the next day, either you're crazy.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Teacher's life is always around revolving around books. So you have to be really involved in the life of your students. That's one of the top qualities of a teacher, is to really know your children, your students, and to get them what they really need, what they really require. So if reading, for example, is not their thing, how can you substitute that with something else that's equally important? Maybe you can give them the idea of audiobooks. Maybe they hate reading. I know many people, when as soon as they open the book, they sleep, they fall asleep. All right, maybe reading itself is not the thing, but hearing maybe is their thing, and so on and so forth. There are YouTube, excuse me, there are YouTube channels that summarizes the books, the top selling books. You can actually give them these videos. 10 minutes video can sum up the entire book. So you don't have to read the book, but get the benefit of the book, get the summary, get the
Yeah.
bullet point, and so on and so forth. You have to know the learning techniques of your students. Not every student is a robot,
Yeah.
can do whatever you want. You have to
Exactly.
modify, and this is part also of protective behavior technique.
So, Irfan, I hope you got your answer over here,
No,
that
this,
it's not about the device or not a device, or whether a book or not a book. It's about creating a culture. It's about creating an environment. It's about,
certain
you doing what you
discipline
want your
and
children to do. And
discipline
then,
and
yeah, yeah. Yes, Mariam, you can carry on yes,
yes,
what you're saying.
it is about setting some goals. A lot of people in pandemic asked me, okay, how to get rid of this device from the children's hand because they're doing everything on it. So I told them you have to set a timetable which should involve you in it. You don't
Right,
set a timetable that okay, do go here, do this. So I
right.
told them you play games with them. They're board games. There's Scrabble. Scrabble, you learn,
The
words.
physical games that we had, Mariam, remember the physical games that we had? We used to go play
Yes,
outside,
yes.
play Coco and play,
That's what I said.
whatever. Yeah,
Parents should take the initiative. They should show the interest and love for it, so that the
exactly.
children also do. If the parent expect in this era to take the device away and put them on the books, they will not. That will not happen ever. It won't,
Right,
because the new
right,
generation which is coming up, popping up, they're totally device oriented. So the only thing we can do is, like Brother Wael said, that to create that environment, you have to be involved yourself, and to and even in the reading part, you're so right. A lot of teachers don't read. I have taught for 15 years, and trust me, my life was just teaching. I used to literally be a teacher 24/7. There was
right.
nothing else I would do when I was teaching. I was so worried about all the children, and I was actually counseling children. I was taking care of special children who needed more attention. So I used to make sure that I inculcate the reading habit and playing game habit, or good habits, or going physical, going playing outside, or exploring the nature. There are so many good things you can do at different level. It's just that you have to initiate yourself. These days parents don't have time, and they just complain that our children don't listen, and they just want the device and they're so addicted to it. It's not their fault, it is
Right.
our fault. We have
Yes.
given them desire, and we wanted them to be on that. Like brother said, we go to the restaurant and we see a little baby, 3 months old, 6 months old, sitting with a tab, and the parents are giggling and talking, and they don't even know what the child is skipping
But
on.
your parents feel very, prestigious. They feel very proud of their child using the
Yes,
device
yes.
independently. There is
You can
not
imagine
even
when I was teaching, the mothers used to come in the parents teacher meeting and would say, my child can open up the phone and go to. And I was like, I used to say, I'm so sorry, I don't get impressed with this. If you come to me and say he opened a book and start reading it, I'll be very happy. And trust me, I used to give little tokens of certificates every week for any child who would bring a book and tell me about it and read it to me. So I
there's
had a candy, a jar for certificates, small token of love. And weekend end, I would give it to them and write it then that this child read this book and going to read another book next week. So this is how you have to have different ideas to inculcate the reading habit. It is the most important thing, and your brain also is not hooked to the device, which is harmful. But
Right.
this is an area where we are stuck in with the device. But as parents and teacher, we need to look for more, more creative or more
Okay.
happening
Let,
ideas.
let me connect this to one more thing, wherein I am particularly a person who deals with educational technology. Before even I connect this, I would like to tell this to Sir Wael, that if you're feeling restless some way, or if you're not feeling okay, you can inform us, and you're all. It's going to be perfectly
Yes.
fine for you to go. But we would love you to be over here. But if it is not, your health not permitting, do let us know, please.
Maybe I'll take one question if you don't mind and disappear, because my back is on fire at the moment. So.
Oh,
Oh my
I can
God.
understand. I can relate
Allahu
to it.
Akbar.
I'm so sorry,
Mother, you
sir.
should.
We'll take your question first, and then we will, continue with Mariam, and you can leave. So, sir, one more question that you might be able to answer over here is, um, fathers, mothers are still somehow or the other coming on board, knowing the intensity of the problem, but the fathers are the difficult gender to get on board, and it is, I think, more essential for them to be on board in this case, wherein you are dealing with male gender. If your child, your siblings, you have male members in the family, wherein you need to be addressing these issues, we want fathers to be on board, but that's the challenge of high time. What would you like to suggest?
Uh,
How can that be done?
it's a tough one, to be honest. It's very hard, especially in a culture where males are dominating the family, and their say is the final say. And this stupid mentality, sorry to say, and this is, I'm not referring to Pakistani community, I'm referring to any
Worldwide.
society
Yeah.
where the mentality of man leading everything
Oriented.
without a say of any member of the family. This is a stupid mentality. This is
And they don't come
completely,
on board on these things as well. They are like, okay,
yeah.
you deal it yourself. I'm not
Yeah, so
bothered.
it's un-Islamic, to be honest. It's un-Islamic, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He addressed the issue of responsibility, for especially for those who we are taking care of, our children, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala generalized the terms. He said, وَنَكْتُبُ مَا قَدَّمُوا. We writing whatever they do, they. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is writing what we do as parents, وَآثَرَهُمْ, and what we have influenced with. Who do we influence? The first people. The first people that we influence as parents are our children. So Allah is
Yeah.
saying that we are writing everything you've done and what you have influenced others with. So if you influence your children negatively, you'll be questioned. You will not run away. You may run away here in this dunya with the responsibility. And this is what I see it. And perhaps if you came to your husband and told him that my child, I caught him watching porn, and you say, okay, go deal with it. Something like,
Yes,
you go deal
yes,
with it.
that's the
Perhaps he himself is addicted to pornography, and that's
Yes.
the problem. Maybe the father himself, the husband himself, having a problem, and that's why you don't want to deal with it. You see, so it's difficult question, to be honest, to deal with it. But my approach, it will be always the same: education and conversation,
awareness.
education and conversation. Spread the word. No matter what happened, keep on talking, face the waves, and things, I believe, at one stage, it will never remain the same. It will change. But keep going with your approach. Talk to your husband repeatedly, with urgency, escalate it if possible, and perhaps one day they will realize that things are important and they need to get involved. But it's a difficult one. We invite parents to school for meetings, and we see only mothers coming, barely a handful of fathers will come here and there, because they believe that this is the responsibility of the mother, which is
Yes.
something
Very
very,
true.
very sad to deal with. But let's hope for the best, inshallah.
One more thing that I need to ask you, and then you can leave. I'm sorry, I know I'm dragging a little bit.
No
Sir,
problem.
how can people from my channel get connected to you if they want to, learn more about it, maybe explore more about it, maybe get
You
trained,
can,
whichever way? How would you
yes,
be
inshallah.
accessible
So
to
two
them?
things. Two things I want to announce on your platform, inshallah. We have, inshallah ta'ala, an entire coaching certification program which partially will be teaching protective behavior. It's coming up this coming Saturday, 24th of October, 9 p.m. Perth time, 6 p.m. Pakistan time. We will commence our first session. So I think maybe I will put the link. I cannot put the comments, so I'm not sure.
You can.
Can I send it in the private, and then you can share
send
it?
it to me in private. I'll put it up on.
Okay, so I'm writing it here.
I suggest you take up this course because this is a very, very important, very knowledgeable, informative course, which will help you to.
Okay. So this is number one. Secondly, you can email me and inquire if you wish to get the entire curriculum of protective behavior that's been applied and implemented in Australia. You wanted to bring it to your schools, to your education institution. Alhamdulillah, we've been trained on how to teach teachers on how to deal with these issues. So if you're interested, you can send me an email. Here's my email also. I'll send it to the sister.
I've already shared the link that he has shared on the chat. People can already view it.
And this is the email.
And yes, this is the email address. I'm sharing this also with the audience.
All right.
Here it comes.
And that's it.
Brother,
Otherwise, also he's available whenever you want. We will get you connected and we'll get him answered. Yes.
Yes, I really appreciate you took out time. You're not
No
well.
problem.
You just had a surgery.
Thank you so very much.
I just need to lie down now. So thank you so much once again. I greet you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us this much time, sir. Really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Take care. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Now we are on a counter. Sometimes we might be in a counter position, Mariam. See, there was this one question wherein we talked about father coming on board, which we already talking about in terms of Mr. Ibrahim was there. So would you like to comment on this? Is it and related to your own personal life also? Does your counterpart or your family member who's male member is putting in their effort with you?
Oh yes. Alhamdulillah, my husband is very open about everything, and we have 2 girls. He shares everything. He talks to them about everything. That if something bad happens, you know who to come to. This has been going on from a very little. It's been they're teenagers.
How is it possible, Mariam? Because people would like to know how did you make it possible?
By talking, like Brother Wael said, communication. What problem, Saima, the problem is we don't have communication between husband and wife.
Right.
We don't talk about pornography, sex, intimate life. We don't talk about anything. We don't talk about how to upbring children, in what way, what protective behaviors should be told, should be inculcated in the children. So the very important, the core important thing is to have a very good communication, trust level. The trust is there, the communication is there, understanding, and then cooperating with each other. So this thing I have been, it's a long, mashallah, life, married life of mine. I have always been talking about it, and we talk about on all subjects. And I keep on saying, I have been talking on different platforms with Brother Wael, that the spouses are so shy to talk to each other about intimacy and other things, then how would they talk to their children? That's the problem. We need to break that taboo. Allah Ta'ala has put us into a nikah, and if you can't talk to your spouse easily and comfortably, how can you fix up your children? How can you talk to your children? So that starts from you. As I keep on saying, it starts from you, the couple, the parents. I have counseled a lot of parents, and I keep on saying it's not the wife's job. It is both of you. Like Brother Wael just gave a ayat on it, that Allah Ta'ala says it's they, not you. So mother is not responsible for everything. She's taking care of the household, outside, working, children. And the husband says, it's your work, not my duty. That's not right. And then obviously these are the things which are happening because they know the father is not interested. And how far and go, the mother can see what the child is doing. And then we have this culture that mostly in the elite culture or upper class, that you're given a different room and you don't even know what is happening behind doors. They're saying they were studying. What do you know what they're studying? We don't look into it. We don't try to understand what is happening. And there are so many cases that happened. That when you talk about protective behavior, it's not just pornography or this haram thing. It's about bullying also. Maybe the child is getting bullied and he's getting into severe depression, and the parents don't understand what is happening. They would blame the child that you are weak in studies or you're not interested. They would not want to know, okay, what is happening with his life or her life. It can be, he can be bullied, or he can be, named. Children must be, pushing away. There are so many things. So these are the things the children need to be told from a very, very young age. Like brother said, day one, I say from the womb. I'll tell you how to put, I was a bookworm, and I wanted my children to be bookworms. So before my daughter was born, I set a library for my daughter. She was not even born. I set her room, I set a library. And the first thing I gave in her hand when she was just 3 months old, 6, I gave her a book. So starts from there. I wanted her to be, I used to read books, a lot of books, obviously Quran Sharif and the other, and lots of other informative books, because I wanted and trust me, it happened. She's a bookworm. She cannot sleep without reading. She cannot stay without reading. I mean, this, because I put it in her when she was in my womb. And this happens from there. We keep on thinking. I have done the child psychology. The thing is that a child's brain is very curious. Like you said, your computer was put on password. You were having that thought, okay, why is it being password? So I have never put password on my phone, ever. No password. I say, because when you put a password, that means the child would say, why has mom and dad put a password? That means there is something inside that phone that we're not supposed to see. So we kept that kind of rule in our house that there should be no password on the computer or on the phone. That is the trust level you're giving to the kids. But what is happening now? Because we are so addicted in different addictions, father's phones, they have 2, 3 phones, they're all shut, locked. Children are not supposed to touch the father's phone. And the mothers also, most of the cases, have password on. So this, what kind of mentality are you giving the child? They will get curious and they would want to know, okay, what bad are our parents doing here? What they are hiding from us? So if they have this thought, they will hide things from you. It's vice versa. So everything starts from there. Like we point there, we have to point here. 3 fingers are pointing me. So we have to change our mentality. Like we keep on saying, it's in our society. This is our culture. This is not our culture. This is not our society. We are the one who made it. We are the one who is going to change it. So this is from now. You tell yourself, I'm going to change myself so that my children can change. And we can give a better society, better generation, and better habits and better discipline. And it is not impossible. It is possible, because if you want to make it, there is nothing I keep on saying.
How about parents complaining? I mean, people complaining parents don't have time. This is something that is always coming to me as a shock, that parents don't have time for their own investment.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. They have put their children in tuitions. They have made
school
tuition maids, and they don't have time. I have seen the child going with something to the father or the mother. They would speak and say, I'm busy right now, I'll see later on. That later never comes. That's the moment you need to put the phone down and give time to your child. He's your child. She's your child. You are the one who have, given birth. Yeah, and this is your investment, and this is your future. But they will be doing the same thing with you when they grow up, with their spouses. See, you need to make a better husband. When a boy is born. You need to train him to be a better husband, better son, better brother. And you need to train the daughters better wife, make a better wife, better sister, better daughter-in-law. This starts from the very beginning. You can't say कि अभी तो बड़ा होगा तो हम देखेंगे. नहीं. This goes on from the very beginning. You give the discipline, you give the rules, you give all the etiquettes and everything from very beginning. Otherwise, it won't happen. You can't say. Parents used to come to me and say, मेरा बच्चा जो है ना वो fruits नहीं खाता, सब्जी नहीं खाता, आप उसको आदत दिला दें. तो मैं उनसे सवाल करती थी, अच्छा मुझे ये बताएं, आपने कभी सब्जी खाई है ये वाली जो भी आप कह रहे हैं? तो मदर से नहीं मुझे तो पसंद ही नहीं है. Then how do you expect your child to have it? They would say कि हमारा बच्चा मछली नहीं खाता, आप खाते हैं? नहीं, मुझे आप वो बहुत अच्छा होता है, but I don't eat it. Even dry fruits, I have come across in my teaching life and other ways because I counsel, I coach, so I get these weird things coming के ये उसका habit ऐसा हो गया वैसा हो गया. तो I don't ask the child. It's not his or her fault. It's their fault. आपने कभी जिंदगी में आम नहीं खाया है तो आप चाहते हैं आपका बच्चा आम खा ले, ये नहीं हो सकता. जब आप that the child was in your womb, you're supposed to eat everything. So the child gets into the habit of eating vegetable, fruits and dry fruits and other things. If you never had it, your child will not have. आप एक शक्ल बना रहे हैं गंदी सी और आम छील रहे हैं और देके दे रहे हैं ये लो खा लो, तो उसको क्या नजर आ रहा है? उसको नजर आ रहा है कि अम्मा को मेरी my mother doesn't want it. She doesn't like and she's making these disgusting faces and giving it to me. Why would the child eat it? He would say it's a bad thing. She would say, why would I eat it when my mother is making disgusting faces? So this starts, we don't realize what we're doing.
And also this attitude will develop wherein the child would say that it is okay to not like certain things, it is okay to like certain things. Because you've created that environment at home that there are certain things which you may not like and you should not eat. Like I'm not eating, you should not eat. So it's all about
on a dinner table and a lunch table, what happens? हर बच्चा is sitting with a different thing कि मुझे ये नहीं खाना, मुझे वो नहीं खाना. तो क्या करते हैं जी, दूसरी चीज बना दे. अच्छा फ्राइज बना के दे दो, अच्छा इसको ये नगेट्स बना के दे दो. आपने क्या किया? आपने बच्चे की आदत खराब कर दी. आपने कहा कि you can eat what you want to eat, all the junk food, all the food which you not should be eating, fries, burger patty or nuggets. Nugget is the common thing everybody. कुछ बच्चा नहीं खा रहा उसको nugget fry करके दे दो.
Nuggets fry.
Food to give. What are you expecting from your child? आप lunch के table पे बैठते हैं तो make sure what you're eating the child should eat. It's healthy time, healthy food. Put away the mobiles and concentrate on the child, what the child wants to eat. आप उसको प्यार मोहब्बत से खिलाएं, खुद भी बोलें कि it's so nice. I will tell you, my children started eating everything because they used to see me enjoying every bite of the meal. And I used to do it on purpose. So my children look at me and say, oh, look at mama. And now, till now, they're grown-ups. They say, we love the way mom eats the food. It looks so yummier when she's eating it. So we eat it. So it starts from you. If you have to make that environment on your dinner lunch table, in your breakfast table, that this is a yummy food I'm eating, you also eat. It's healthy for you. So this starts from a very big. You can't leave the children with the junk food or whatever food, and you say कि अच्छा ठीक है नहीं खा रहा छोड़ दो अच्छा अभी ये नहीं खाना चलो बर्गर मंगवा लो. This is the society we are creating. अब बर्गर मंगवा लो या कोई बाहर से चीज मंगवा लो, ऐसे नहीं होता. This is not. Then you can't complain कि जी बच्चा नहीं खा रहा है या बच्चा behave नहीं कर रहा है या बच्चा is not disciplined. ये सारी चीजें फिर आप शिकायत नहीं कर सकते. You have no right to do शिकायत because you created it yourself. तो वो जो हम protective behavior की बात करते हैं, these are all, it comes into the same plate. हर किस्म की चीजें उसमें आ जाती हैं और हम अपने आप को we don't look into ourselves, we start pinpointing others, we pinpoint and then comparison. Oh my good Lord, I don't know why parents compare. I keep on, जब मैं counsel करती हूँ तो मैं कहती हूँ ये मुझे बताएं आपके बहन भाई आपके twins हैं, मतलब they do the same thing, आप हाथ हिलाते तो वह हाथ हिलाते, नहीं वो तो बहुत फर्क है. मैंने कहा how can you compare a child? अल्लाह ताला ने सबको अपना अलग पैदा किया है. मैं अलग हूँ, आप अलग है, आपका बच्चा अलग है. आप कैसे, वो फलाने ने तो इतने अच्छे ग्रेड लिए, मेरा बच्चा क्यों नहीं ले रहा? Your बच्चा has his own brain and mind. He was created by himself, a unique person. You can't compare. ये जो कंपैरिजन में बच्चे को मार देते हैं, पेरेंट्स को भी.
Actually, I think I again would relate this, Mariam, कि it's actually a little bit fault in our society as well, and as a whole as well. Why? Because it's not just a comparison on the parents' end; it's comparison from the school end as well. Why are they providing? Why are they grading the children in a way wherein there is first grade and second grade and third grade? Why is there not something like average and below average and above average as in result? Why not, why are you creating first in the class, second in the class, third in the class? Where is this thing coming from? When
They
you
saw
people say, and when we all educationists say that all children are different and they are supposed to be catered in a different way, they are supposed to be appreciated for whatever ability they have, then what is the point of us rating them, saying first and second and third and fourth? So it's all
no.
beginning from the education system all by itself.
Say no, don't do it. I taught 6 years in an Islamic school. We didn't, we did not take any tests. We did not grade anyone. We did not. We said it's totally wrong. You can't grade a child. हर क्लास में बच्चा अलग होता है, डिफरेंट माइंडसेट का होता है, कुछ स्लो होते हैं, कुछ फास्ट होते हैं, कुछ मीडियम होते हैं. यू कांट जस्ट टेल देम कि आप एक ही पर्चे पे सबको नहीं चला सकते, आप एक ही कैरिकुलम पे, एक ही प्लानर पे सबको नहीं चला सकते. यू कांट एक्सपेक्ट कि वो जो बहुत ही शार्प इंटेलिजेंट बच्चा है, इंटेलेक्चुअल बच्चा है, वो आपको वही रिजल्ट दूसरा वाला बच्चा भी देगा, नहीं देगा. वो अगर फास्ट है तो उसके पीछे एक बच्चा स्लो भी है, who's taking time to digest, understand and grasp all the knowledge you're throwing up to that child. So you have to go according to it. Or this is the job of the educationists, the teachers. Teacher hona, jaise brother Wael said, teacher hona is not a normal thing. It's a noble job and it's a 24/7 job. If the teacher is not true and she is not sincere, I would say, sincere to herself, what she's doing, then she should not be a teacher, because she has a very big responsibility on her shoulders to see those children who are slow. They're not, हम क्या करते हैं, टीचर्स लेबल कर देते हैं कि ये तो बिल्कुल निकम्मा है, ये तो पढ़ ही नहीं सकता, नालायक है, और ये इसको आप रिपीट करें. Do you know you have just spoil the life of that child by saying all that? तो ये मैंने देखा है टीचर्स को करते हुए. बहुत सारे लोग शौक में टीचिंग ले लेते हैं. It's not their cup of tea. Teaching is very important and it's a very sincere. You have to work sincerely. It's a like I say, it's a profession where teachers are the profession. So if you're not honest and sincere with your work, what you're doing, then you can't be a teacher. But then you're spoiling lives, which is not acceptable. तो आपको बहुत सारी चीजें सोचनी पड़ती हैं, देखनी पड़ती हैं. And then the educationers, the top level people of the principal, the coordinators, your directors, whoever they're running the institute, they should understand now. Now, when we talk about now the new normals, life has extremely changes, like 180 degree. So now you have to understand the children who've been taking classes for 5 months online, going to school and listening to all the things teachers are saying, they will not listen. You have to change your ways. You have to change, and you have to be more interactive, more fun kind of teacher, so that they like you, they love you, and they want to come to the school and do and learn things. Kitabi nahi hota hai. There are practical things, there are storytelling, there are so many things. You have to change your ways. It is very important. Agar aaj nahi to kiya, to phir kuch nahi kiya. So everything starts from today. Everything starts from today. It's very important. Once we know the importance of something, I always say, if you're not sincere, whether you're a teacher or an entrepreneur or anything, if you're not sincere with your work, you should stop doing it. You should just quit.
That's what we always say, that you need to be passionate about whatever you do. And with that, we have completed our first 1 hour of talk with everyone, and I'm glad that people were throughout with us. They were listening to us, and I think there was this very important message which was passed on through this platform by you people with your expertise, that people may consider this to be an important issue that needs to be addressed and not being ignored or not being bounded due to the cultural boundaries, setting up the cultural boundaries to make sure that you need to be talking about it. Don't just ignore, don't just give it up on it, because it's eventually on the long run.
The
Sorry?
very important thing, the very important quote is, be the change you want to see in the world.
Be the change you want to see in the
Be
world.
the
Definitely,
change. So
definitely.
if you start from yourself, be the change. हम सिर्फ कहते रहते हैं कि कब बदलेंगे हालात, जब आप खुद बदलेंगे तो हालात भी बदलेंगे.
एग्जैक्टली, जब आप बदलेंगे तो चीजें आपके साथ साथ बदलती चली जाएंगी. यू ब्रिंग इन दैट पैशन, पीपल विल चेंज. हम कोशिश करते हैं छोटी सी टॉक लाके यहाँ पे लोगों से कनेक्ट करके और वो एक एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करने की, लेकिन फॉर्चुनेट एंड अनफॉर्चुनेट बिकॉज some people do connect. और हम ये भी कहते हैं मरियम कि जो लोग हमें कनेक्ट कर रहे होते हैं वो तो ऑलरेडी एक लेवल अप होते हैं अपनी अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे. मैं सजेस्ट करूंगी कि वही लोग दूसरों को भी रीच आउट करें और उन लोगों को भी अपग्रेड करें जो कि इस बारे में अपग्रेड नहीं है. ये कैस्केड करना इनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है जो हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे हमें ज्वाइन करते हैं. एंड आई एम रियली वेरी हैप्पी. यूजुअली मरियम, द ऑडियंस दैट वी हैव, really those people are up one level. They are up one level. So we need to set in the environment wherein they can cascade this to the audience and they'll be able to create an environment themselves as well. So it was
Yes.
lovely having you. Any last message that you would like to give?
No, I said be the change you want to see in the world, but just forget about the haters, doubters, in your life. Just start life in a new way. Be positive, love yourself, believe in yourself, love
Right.
your kids, believe in yourself, and trust them. Give them that trust. They're your own children, and they're the future. So you can make the future brighter with your doings. So just inculcate the love of being beautiful. Allah has created us beautifully, so we are all beautiful beings, and just love yourself. Thank you
Definitely.
so much,
That's lovely.
Jazakallah, for having me on this platform. I'm glad I could speak up on
Thank
this
you so
topic.
much, Mariam, for giving us this much time. And there has been a lot of thanks from audience as well. Zahid Mohammed is also saying nice talk, Miss Saima and Miss Mariam and Mr. Ibrahim. So yes, there has been a lot of appreciation. Thank you so much for giving us this time. And I hope you were able to establish something. Thank you, dear.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much. God bless you. Allah
Bye bye.
Hafiz.
Hafiz. So this brings us to an environment to think about. हम अपनी लैंग्वेज पे थोड़ा सा और आ जाते हैं वापस से कि हमें वो माहौल क्रिएट करने की ज़रूरत है जहाँ पे बच्चा हमारा सेफ कंफर्टेबल फील करे. और अगर हम वो एक ओपन डोर देते हैं बच्चों को जहाँ पे वो आए हमसे बात करें अपने प्रॉब्लम्स बजाय इसके कि वो अपने अंदर लेके परेशान हो जाए और हैरान हो जाए और वो अपने आप को जो है वो अंदर अंदर मारने लगे, आप उनके साथ वो एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करें कि वो प्रॉब्लम्स आपसे आके शेयर करें. बिकॉज जो काम आप एज अ पेरेंट कर सकते हैं, जो काम आप एज अ टीचर कर सकते हैं, वो कोई और नहीं कर सकता. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, कोई काउंसलर, कोई भी थर्ड पर्सन आप इन्वॉल्व करेंगे, इट इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू बी एज इम्पैक्टफुल एज यू. आपकी अपनी इंपॉर्टेंस आपने खुद समझनी है. आई होप कि ये मैसेज कन्वे हो गया होगा आज की टॉक से. इंशाल्लाह और भी टॉक्स लेकर आएंगे और भी बातें करेंगे और भी लोग हमारे अवेटेड हैं नेक्स्ट वीक के लिए. तो नेक्स्ट वीक मीन्स सैटरडे के लिए जो कि हमारा यूजुअल टाइम है. इट वॉज लवली हैविंग ऑल ऑफ यू हियर. थैंक यू सो वेरी मच. सब्सक्राइब करना नहीं भूलेंगे, लाइक करना नहीं भूलेंगे, कॉमेंट्स करना अगर चाहते हैं. अभी भी कुछ ऐसी बातें हैं जो आप इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे करना चाहते हैं वो ज़रूर करें. यूट्यूब कम्युनिटी को भी हम कोशिश करेंगे एक्टिव करने की, तो इंशाल्लाह वहाँ पे भी थोड़ी सी वर्किंग होगी. हमें बहुत सारे लोग ज्वाइन करते हैं नेपाल से, इंडिया से, पाकिस्तान से और भी दूसरे ममालिक से जो है वो यूएस से, कनाडा से भी बहुत सारे लोग हमें ज्वाइन करते हैं और ये वीडियो उनके लिए अवेलेबल होती है. कनेक्ट होते रहे, सीखते रहे, सिखाते रहे, चीज़ों को बेहतर से बेहतरीन बनाते रहे. सो नेक्स्ट टाइम के लिए अभी करते हैं गुड बाय.